Glitch Direct 2025 just wrapped up, and besides finally showing us that very same sneak peek from New York Comic Con, we also got the official release dates for episodes 7 and 8. Even though many expected episode 7 to drop at the end of October and everything seemed to point that way, Glitch officially confirmed that episode 7 will be released on December 12th. But the most exciting part is that they also revealed the release date for episode 8, March 20th, 2026. That means the gap between episodes 7 and 8 will be just a little over 3 months, which is insanely cool. And for now, we've got about 2 months left to wait for episode 7. I'm sure we'll start seeing the first official leaks in just a couple of weeks. Many fans also noticed that episode 7 seems to stand out from the rest, and its theme might once again highlight the ongoing issue of censorship on YouTube. I'm really curious to discuss how the creators of the show might handle this, and how it's already affecting the original storyline of the amazing digital circus. On top of that, we got confirmation that after the release of episode 7, episodes 5 to 7 will be available on Netflix, which likely means Glitch has managed to resolve some of the issues they had with the streaming platform. And that's something we'll definitely talk about today too. I'd also like to talk about some alternative options Glitch might have in case they face the same kind of problems again. It all started before the release of episode 3 when Glitch hit us with the news that from now on, all episodes were going to be up on Netflix, but at the same time, all rights to the amazing digital circus would still stay with the creators of the show. Episodes 3 and 4 dropped with no issues and hit Netflix the same time as YouTube, but after episode 5 came out, viewers started noticing that days were passing and there were 0 updates on Netflix. After that, Goose spilled the tea, saying Netflix wouldn't approve episode 5 because of censorship, and they'd have to tweak some details from the previous episode to get the green light for episode 5's release on Netflix. Even back then, it already felt super weird, because everyone remembers their contract says Netflix has no right to mess with the plot or change the creator's vision in any way. That's when everybody instantly remembered the whole Murder Drones mess, which at first was supposed to stream on Netflix too, but because of the name restrictions, Netflix wanted Glitch to swap Murder Drones for Metadrones. They couldn't lock in the deal, and Murder Drones ended up dropping on Prime Video instead. At first, after the whole episode 5 silence, no one was really freaking out, because folks figured Glitch would just tweak a few scenes without killing the main point of the story and everything would be chill. But weeks kept passing, and episode 5 still never showed up on Netflix, and right before episode 6 dropped, Gooseworx made a post throwing shade at YouTube's censorship policy. At that point, everybody's like, if the creators ain't happy with YouTube's censorship, and YouTube's way more chill than Netflix, then there's 0 reason to expect episode 6 to ever drop on Netflix. And that's exactly how it played out. Like I already showed y'all, right now we only got 4 episodes of the amazing digital circus up there. Considering we've known for a while that episode 6 is just the start of the chaos, and Glitch and Gooseworx are already running into these Netflix issues, there's pretty much no point hoping for more episodes on that platform. But honestly, that's just a tiny piece of the mess the creators gotta deal with, and I ain't gonna lie, it legit freaks me out thinking that with all these strict censorship rules, not just on Netflix but on YouTube too, we might end up with something way different from the show Gooseworx originally had in mind. Let's break this down deeper. The problem with the amazing digital circus is that it's a 3D show that a lot of folks on a bigger scale see as a kids or teen thing. Like, we're watching these cartoony characters go on all kinds of adventures, and barely anyone really digs into what this project's truly about. Netflix sees it as a kids' show, and that makes their censorship demands way stricter, which totally clashes with the creator's vision. And since the digital circus is only going to get darker later on and dive into heavier themes the way we're used to, the odds of it ever coming back to Netflix are basically 0. Pretty likely that before episode 7 drops, we'll finally hear that there ain't going to be any partnership between Glitch and Netflix anymore. A lot of fans think the digital circus is going to move over to Prime Video, just like Murder Drones did. And since Prime Video's way more chill with indie animation and gets that sometimes under the wrapper of a kid's show, there's actually some deep grown-up themes, we definitely ain't going to see the kind of censorship Netflix and partly YouTube pull. Most likely, all these changes are going to happen right before the new episode comes out, but it's important to get that for now. This is just speculation, and I'll be keeping a close eye on every update about this and hitting y'all with the news lightning fast. Even back then, I was thrown off by the fact that Netflix wouldn't let episode 5 drop, and like an obsessed geek, I kept trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And honestly, the only thing I could point out were these scenes.
I'm a New Zealand extremist, and I don't know what New Zealanders threaten people with.
Huh? Check this out. You're out, dumb.
Damn it! And then you just act like you never do anything wrong and everybody loves you, when in reality you just everything up for everyone else!
Okay, let's, calm down a bit.
What? You're the one who said it's fine to be a jerk sometimes! Ugh.
Sure, they kinda stand out from the vibe Netflix wants to see in a show like this. Let me remind y'all, Netflix sees the digital circus as a kids' or teen show, but these scenes made it through YouTube's censors just fine, which you can't really say about episode 6 where the creators ran into a few issues. Far as I see it, the whole thing's about these scenes.
The suggestion box just causes interpersonal drama, and me no likey.
All right, you really want to know what I want?
Oh no.
I want the ability to have sex.
No way. Are we finally having this conversation? No wonder we're not a team.
No, I mean, we were doing fine, having fun, talking. But you suddenly
You're not committing. Do it.
What would you do if I abstracted tomorrow?
I'd move on. And probably forget about you.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
Jeez, you really can't take a joke, can you?
It's pretty likely that the whole weapons thing also played a part, but the main issues with episode 6 dropping on YouTube started exactly with these scenes. Imagine the panic Netflix must have felt when they saw him, and that's not even counting Jax's brutal panic attack. I'm pretty sure they freaked out just like that watching episode 6, but we're done with Netflix for now, so let's get back to the YouTube situation. I've already mentioned before that it's pretty likely the creators originally had a slightly different plot in mind for episode 6. Most likely in this scene, Gooseworx was planning a different storyline. Judging by these frames, we can assume Pomni was about to do something to herself, but because of the heavy censorship, the team couldn't go through with it. Even if they showed the loser corner right after, the reason for that transition would have still been obvious and could have ended badly for Glitch's channel. The problem is that limits like this really keep the digital circus team from fully pulling off their original vision. But while with Netflix they can just bail from the service, with YouTube it's way tougher because that's the main platform where all the episodes drop. Glitch and Gooseworx are gonna have to roll with YouTube's rules no matter what, and that seriously sucks. This whole messy situation gets even worse, cause up till episode 6, the creators never had any beef with YouTube's censors, but the thing is, all the earlier episodes were mostly about digging into the characters while now the really wild, game-changing stuff is kicking off. Most likely, the core story for Digital Circus was written way back before the pilot dropped, when YouTube's rules on what you can show weren't nearly as strict. And with each passing month, YouTube keeps trying to be safer, but that just ends up putting heavy limits on creators, including the folks behind the amazing Digital Circus. So we end up realizing the creators will have to seriously tweak not just episode 7, but the rest of the series too, because their whole creative vision's being boxed in by YouTube's censorship. I'm curious to hear what y'all think about this whole situation, and what you'd do if you were in Glitch and Gooseworx's place. As for me, I've run into YouTube's censorship more than once, and yeah, it really can mess with what you originally planned, so you end up having to look for some kind of workaround. And that's where this video comes to an end. See y'all soon in the next ones.